June 12th in Ahmedabad began like any other day. Warm sunlight, the hum of traffic, and people going about their routines, until 1:39 p.m. changed everything. Without warning, a monstrous roar shattered the afternoon calm as Air India flight AL171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, lost control and plunged into a densely populated residential area near the airport. The impact was catastrophic, sending shockwaves of disbelief and terror across the city. People rushed out of their homes, unable to comprehend the horror unfolding before their eyes. Thick black smoke billowed into the sky, visible for miles around, turning the afternoon sun into a dim, haunting glow. The crash site, a hostel for doctors at BJ Medical College, became a scene of chaos and devastation, with shattered walls and burning debris everywhere. Flames devoured the wreckage and the building, while sirens wailed and emergency crews rushed in, battling both fire and panic. The air was thick with jet fuel, smoke, and tragedy, every breath a reminder of the disaster that had just struck. Debris and personal belongings were scattered everywhere, remnants of 242 lives, each item telling a story abruptly cut short. For hostel residents, their sanctuary became a tomb, the place they called home transformed into a scene of unimaginable loss. The crash was not just a news story, it was a wound carved into the heart of the community, leaving scars that would last for generations. Onlookers cried, screamed, and searched desperately for loved ones amid the rubble, clinging to hope in the face of overwhelming despair. Some ran to help, risking their own safety, while others stood frozen in shock, unable to process the magnitude of the tragedy. In mere moments, the city's familiar rhythm was replaced by raw anguish and instinct, as everyone grappled with the unthinkable. The sky, once a symbol of hope and possibility, became a source of unimaginable sorrow, forever marking June 12th as the day the sky fell. As the shock faded, one question echoed everywhere. How could this happen? The Boeing 787 Dreamliner was among the safest planes in the world. The weather was clear, the flight routine, yet disaster struck. The crash felt like a betrayal of modern aviation's promise. Experts speculated: simultaneous engine failure, flight control malfunction, or a problem with the landing gear, which eyewitnesses saw still extended. Every theory pointed to a sudden, overwhelming loss of control. For families, the question was deeply personal, a desperate need for meaning in senseless loss. The search for answers became a quest for justice and peace. Investigators faced a void filled with grief and confusion. Until the truth emerged, the smoke over Ahmedabad was a constant, painful reminder. The world demanded answers. The disaster unfolded in just 60 seconds, a single minute that would change countless lives forever. At exactly 1:38 p.m., Flight AI-171 began its takeoff roll from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport, its engines thundering as it accelerated down the runway. The Gen X engines roared to life. The plane lifted off, and for a fleeting moment, everything appeared routine. Passengers glanced out their windows, unaware of the danger ahead. But almost immediately the aircraft struggled, barely climbing to 625 feet, far too low for a safe ascent. The nose seemed heavy, the climb sluggish. In the cockpit, the pilots fought desperately for control, their voices tense as they sent a mayday call to air traffic control, hoping for a miracle. Eyewitnesses on the ground saw the plane flying alarmingly low, its landing gear still extended, and heard strange, uneven engine noises echoing across the city. The aircraft seemed stuck, unable to gain altitude, as if trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. Within seconds, the plane banked sharply, losing precious altitude, and then plunged toward the ground in a terrifying descent. Its tail struck the roof of a hostel, triggering a massive explosion that sent shockwaves through the neighborhood. A fireball erupted, engulfing the crash site in flames and thick black smoke as emergency crews rushed to respond. From takeoff to impact, less than a minute had passed, yet the devastation was total. 242 souls on board, and several more on the ground, were lost in an instant, leaving families and a city in mourning. The city watched in horror as the tragedy unfolded in real time, news spreading rapidly and disbelief turning to grief. The final moments were swift, brutal, and unforgettable, etched into the memories of all who witnessed them. The world would never be the same, forever marked by the loss and the lessons of Flight AL171. Amid the devastation, a single miracle, one survivor. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, a British national of Indian origin, was pulled from the wreckage near an emergency exit. His survival became a beacon of hope in the darkness. Seated in 11A, next to the exit, his location may have saved him. From his hospital bed, he recalled flickering cabin lights and a strange sensation. The plane wasn't climbing. There was no panic, just unease before the violent impact. His memories offer a crucial human perspective from inside the doomed flight. For grieving families, he is a living link to their loved ones. His recovery is watched by a world desperate for hope. The psychological scars will take far longer to heal than the physical ones. When he's ready, his story will be vital to the investigation. The investigation began immediately, led by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. The crash site was secured and investigators in protective gear sifted through the wreckage. Experts from the US, UK, Portugal, Boeing, and GE Aerospace joined the effort. The priority: recover the black boxes. After 28 hours, both the flight data and cockpit voice recorders were found. These devices will reveal the flight's final moments, second by second. Analysis will be painstaking and may take months. Investigators are also reviewing maintenance records, air traffic control logs, and eyewitness videos. The focus: technical failure, human error, or an external factor. A preliminary report is expected in 30 days. The full story may take a year. The world waits for answers. The human cost is staggering. 241 of 242 on board perished. In a single devastating moment, hundreds of lives were extinguished, leaving behind a void that can never truly be filled. The scale of loss is almost impossible to comprehend, echoing through every family and community touched by this tragedy. On the ground, at least 9 more lives were lost in the hostel, where the crash's impact was felt most directly. The devastation extended beyond the aircraft, claiming innocent bystanders and deepening the sorrow. Behind the numbers are stories of families shattered and a community in mourning. Each victim leaves behind loved ones grappling with unimaginable grief, their futures forever altered. Identification has been slow and painful, relying on DNA due to the fire's intensity. The painstaking process has added to the anguish as families wait for answers. As of June 19th, 215 victims have been identified. Each name brings a mix of relief and heartbreak, as families finally receive confirmation but must also confront the finality of loss. The wait for confirmation has been agonizing for families. Every hour drags on, filled with hope and dread as they cling to memories and pray for closure. The passengers were a diverse group, 169 Indians, each with their own story, dreams, and loved ones waiting for their return. 53 British, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian. The tragedy crossed borders, touching lives in multiple nations and uniting strangers in shared sorrow. The tragedy sent shockwaves through communities in India and abroad. News of the disaster dominated headlines, and people everywhere paused to mourn. Vigils were held in Leicester. Ahmedabad is in mourning. Across continents, people gathered to honor the victims and support the grieving. The city's psyche is scarred, its trauma shared. The pain lingers in every corner, a silent reminder of lives lost too soon. The loss of former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani added to the sorrow, his passing a symbol of the far-reaching impact of this disaster. The victims' dreams are now part of this tragedy's legacy, their memories woven into the fabric of a community determined never to forget. The crash resonated worldwide, prompting an outpouring of condolences. Indian Prime Minister Modi, UK Prime Minister Starmer, and King Charles expressed deep sorrow. Leaders from the US, Canada, Portugal, and others joined in. The tragedy underscored our interconnected world, a loss felt everywhere. Aviation authorities globally are monitoring the investigation, focused on the Boeing 787 and its GNX engines. The findings will shape future safety standards. Media coverage has kept the story in the spotlight, ensuring pressure for transparency. The world mourns together, reflecting on the fragility of life. This is a tragedy that transcends borders. The Tata Group, owner of Air India, responded swiftly. Chairman Natarajan Chandrasekaran met grieving families and pledged transparency and support. Tata announced compensation, 1 crore rupees per victim's family, full medical coverage for the injured, and funds to rebuild the hostel. Boeing, under scrutiny after recent safety issues, pledged full technical support. CEO Kelly Ortberg cancelled his Paris Air Show appearance to focus on the crisis. India's aviation regulator ordered extra maintenance checks on all 787s with GNX engines. The balance public safety versus keeping the nation's aviation network running. The world is watching how Tata and Boeing respond. Accountability is now a promise that must be kept. The crash has ignited a national debate. Is Indian aviation safe enough? India's aviation market is booming, but trust has been shaken to its core. Air India's troubled history looms, despite Tata's recent takeover. Previous crashes in Mangalore and Kozhikode haunt the airline. This latest tragedy raises urgent questions about systemic issues. The investigation's outcome will have global consequences, whether technical failure, maintenance lapse, or pilot error. The stakes are high for Air India, regulators, and the entire industry. The world is watching India's response. This tragedy must spark real change in safety standards and oversight. The final report will be a verdict on Indian aviation's future. The question remains, is Indian aviation safe enough? If you found this story compelling, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. We dive deep into the world's biggest mysteries, untold tragedies, and moments that change history. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Your curiosity keeps us flying higher. Thank you for being part of our journey.